The bugle screams at 0200, Chinese voices everywhere, I can't feel my trigger finger. The man next to me, Jenkins, his M1 won't fire, frozen solid. They're coming over the ridgeline like a human wave, and all I can think is, I'm 19 years old and I'm gonna die in a country I can't even pronounce. November 1950. They told us we'd be home for Christmas. Instead, we walked into a trap at the Chosin Reservoir. 30,000 Marines and soldiers, 120,000 Chinese. Temperatures that froze blood in your veins. This is the story of the 17 days we fought our way out of hell's icebox. November 1950. They told us we'd be home for Christmas. Instead, we walked into a trap at the Chosin Reservoir. 30,000 Marines and soldiers, 120,000 Chinese. Temperatures that froze blood in your veins. This is the story of the 17 days we fought our way out of hell's icebox. They called it a police action. That's what Truman said anyway. We called it something else, but I can't write those words in a letter home to Mom. I'm Private First Class Danny Sullivan, 1st Marine Division, Fox Company, 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines. 27 days ago, we landed at Wonsom. The war was supposed to be over. The North Korean People's Army was on the run, broken, scattered. We were just mopping up. The brass had other plans. Push north, they said. Take the Yalu River. That's the border with China. Manchuria. Nobody thought the Chinese would actually come in. Not really. There were rumors, sure. Some ROK units, Republic of Korea Army, reported contact with Chinese troops in late October, but intelligence brushed it off. Volunteers, they called them, a few advisors. Nothing serious, we should have known better. I remember the train ride up from Wonsom. We were packed into freight cars like cattle, 50 Marines per car, all of us wondering what the hell we were doing, pushing this far north this late in the season. It was already cold, maybe 20 degrees, and we were still in the flatlands. My uncle fought in the Ardennes, Jenkins said. He was the kid from Ohio, always talking about his uncle who was at the Battle of the Bulge. He said winter warfare is the worst, worse than the Japanese islands. Your uncle survived, didn't he? That was Corporal Martinez, our squad's BR man. Big guy, played football at some college in Texas before he enlisted. Yeah, but he lost 3 toes and part of his ear. Well, there you go, he made it. We'll make it too. That was before Chosin, before we learned what real cold was. November 27th, day before Thanksgiving. We're strung out along this god-forsaken reservoir, Chosin they call it, about 78 miles of mountain road from the port at Hungnam. You ever try to fire a rifle when you can't feel your fingers? When the metal's so cold it burns? When every breath feels like inhaling broken glass? That first night at Chosin we learned real fast that this wasn't Korea's army we were fighting. These were Chinese regulars, the CCF, Chinese Communist Forces. And there were a hell of a lot of them. They hit us in rotating waves. First wave comes screaming down the hill, we cut them down, then comes the second wave. They're climbing over their own dead. Some of them don't even have rifles. They're supposed to pick one up from the guy who falls in front of them. Fire discipline. Kowalski screaming, aim, aim, god damn it. But it's hard to aim when they just keep coming. My M1 goes through its 8-round clip ping, that distinctive sound as the clip ejects. I'm reaching for another when Jenkins, the kid from Ohio next to me, starts screaming. He's pulling his trigger and nothing's happening. It's frozen. He's yelling. My rifle's frozen. He's not the only one. All along the line, Marines are having the same problem. The Browning automatic rifles. The bars. They're jamming after a few bursts. The lubricant in the guns is freezing. The recoil springs are sluggish. Some guys are trying to pee on their weapons to warm them up. Martinez, our bar man, he's got it figured out. He's firing in short bursts, 3 or 4 rounds, then waiting, letting the barrel cool just enough that it doesn't seize up. Danny, he shouts at me. When I reload, you cover this sector. Got it. He drops behind the frozen earth, changes magazines. I shift my fire to his zone. A Chinese soldier is maybe 30 yards out. I lead him, squeeze the trigger. He goes down. Another one. And another. I yank Jenkins down. Use mine when I reload, I shout. We'll trade off. The Chinese, they're close now. Close enough I can see their faces in the muzzle flashes. Young faces. Scared faces. Just like ours. They're wearing quilted uniforms. Canvas shoes. No winter boots. How are they even moving in this cold? Later, we'd learn that their supply lines were destroyed by our air power. They were attacking on empty stomachs, with frostbite already setting in. But right now, All I know is they keep coming. I fire, reload, fire, reload. My whole world shrinks down to load. Aim. Somewhere down the line a machine gun goes silent. Then another. We're running out of ammo, running out of working weapons, running out of time. A Chinese soldier makes it to our perimeter. He's got a burp gun, a PFC 41, and he's spraying bullets wildly. Corporal Jackson, the guy 3 holes down from me, stands up with a grenade. Frag out. The grenade sails through the air. The Chinese soldier sees it, tries to run. Too late. The explosion takes him, and 2 others behind him. And then, miracle of miracles, our mortars open up, illumination rounds. The whole valley lights up like daytime, and I can see them, hundreds of them, maybe thousands, pulling back into the tree line, regrouping. Cease fire. Kowalski orders. Conserve your ammo. The sudden silence is almost worse than the noise. I can hear wounded men crying out ours and theirs. The wind has picked up, and it's driving ice crystals into my face like needles. My ears are ringing from the gunfire. My hands are shaking so bad I can barely hold my rifle. I look at Jenkins. His face is white, not from cold, from there's blood on his parka, but I don't think it's his. You okay? I ask. He nods, but he's not okay. None of us are okay. Sullivan, Jenkins, Martinez. Lieutenant Morrison crawls over. He's West Point, but he's all right. Doesn't talk down to us enlisted men. You 3 did good. Real good. How many, sir? Martinez asks. How many did we get? Morrison looks out at the killing field in front of our position. In the illumination flares I can see bodies. Dozens of them. Maybe more. Enough, he says quietly. But they'll hit us again before dawn. Pass the word, fix bayonet, and check your weapons. Get the frozen ones inside your parkas. Try to warm them up against your body. Bayonets. That's when you know it's bad. I pull my K-bar knife and start chipping ice out of my M1's action. The bolt is frozen half open. I work at it for 5 minutes before it finally breaks free. Next to me, Jenkins is crying, trying to hide it. Hey, I say, you did good. I couldn't shoot. He whispers. My rifle. You held the line. That's what matters. I was so scared, Danny, I thought I was gonna die. We all thought that. But we're still here. I'm lying, of course. We're all lying to each other now, telling each other we'll make it. That relief is coming. That this is just a probe, not the main attack. But deep down in that place you don't talk about, we all know the truth. We're surrounded, cut off, and the Chinese have us right where they want us. Kowalski comes by with the ammo count. We're down to maybe 300 rounds per man. Battalion says no resupply until morning at earliest. Weather's got all the birds grounded. What about artillery support? Morrison asks. 105s at Hagaruri are trying, but the coordinates are off in this terrain. They're afraid of hitting us. So we're on our own, surrounded by God knows how many Chinese with limited ammo, frozen weapons, and no way out. Welcome to Chosin. Dawn comes slow at Chosin. The sun rises, but it doesn't bring warmth. Just light. Gray light on a gray world. I've seen casualties before. Incheon, Seoul. But nothing prepared me for this. The slopes in front of our position are covered with Chinese dead. Hundreds of them. They died in the positions they were in when our fire caught them running, crawling, some frozen in the act of throwing grenades. The cold preserved them perfectly, like some kind of grotesque museum. One of them is maybe 10 yards from my fighting hole. Young guy, maybe 17. He's got a photograph in his frozen hand, a family picture. Wife and baby, I think. I look away quick. Don't look at him, Kowalski says. We got work to do. Work means counting our own dead, collecting dog tags, writing down serial numbers for the casualty reports that somebody somewhere will have to file. Fox Company started the night with 240 men. By my count, we're down to maybe 190 effectives. Some dead, more wounded. And the wounded, that's another nightmare. Corman Rodriguez is doing what he can, but the morphine syrettes are frozen. You're supposed to warm them in your mouth before injecting, but even then the needles are breaking off in frozen flesh. The plasma's useless, it's frozen solid in its bottle. All he can really do is bandage and hope. The worst case is guys with gut wounds sucking chest wounds. They're not gonna make it without a MASH unit, and the nearest one is 78 miles south. I'm helping Rodriguez with a kid named Peterson. Took shrapnel from a grenade in his leg and arm. He's maybe 18 years old, from somewhere in Minnesota. Am I gonna make it, Doc? He asks Rodriguez. Rodriguez, he's from Brooklyn, talks like it. He forces a smile. You kidding me? You're tough as nails, Peterson. We'll get you out of here, patch you up good as new. But I see Rodriguez's face when he turns away. Peterson's wounds are bad, real bad, and we got no way to evacuate him. Sullivan. Lieutenant Morrison waves me over. Help me with this. He's got a radio, one of the few still working. He's trying to raise battalion, but the batteries are dying in the cold. We end up taking turns keeping the battery inside our parkas, warming it up, then trying again. Finally, after maybe 30 minutes, we get through. Fox Company, this is Dragon 6, over. Colonel Litzenberg, 7th Marine CO. Morrison keys the mic. Dragon 6, Fox Company. We held, but we took heavy casualties. Request resupply and medevac, over. Static. Long static. Then Fox, negative on medevac. All birds are grounded. Weather's too bad. You're gonna have to hold your position. The whole regiment's cut off at Udimni. Chinese hit us with 3 divisions last night. We're fighting our way back to you, but it's gonna take time. Can you hold, over? Morrison looks at me, then at the perimeter, then at our ammunition supply, maybe 300 rounds per man left if we're lucky. Dragon 6 will hold, over. That's the spirit, Fox. You're sitting on the only pass out of this valley. If you fall, the whole regiment dies. Hold that ground. Help is coming. Dragon 6, out. The radio dies. Battery's gone for good this time. Jenkins is standing there. He heard the whole thing. Is help really coming? He asks. Sure, Morrison says. Absolutely. But I see his face when he turns away. I see the way his hands are shaking, and it's not from the cold. We're on our own. Martinez sits down next to me. He's cleaning his bow, trying to get it working smoothly. We're in deep, aren't we? Yeah. How many you figure are out there? Chinese. I look at the mountains around us. They could be hiding anywhere. In the trees, in the ravines, behind every rock. Too many, I say. You scared? Terrified? Yeah, me too. That's the thing about combat. The waiting is worse than the fighting. When they're coming at you, you don't have time to think. You just react. But now, in the daylight, we got time to think. Time to realize how bad our situation is. Kowalski gathers the squad. All right, listen up. We got 7 more nights minimum before the regiment gets here. That's 7 more nights of what we had last night. Some of you aren't gonna make it, that's just the truth. But if we hold this position, we save 8,000 Marines. You understand? 8,000 of our brothers are counting on us. Nobody says anything. I need to know you're with me, Kowalski continued. I need to know that when they come tonight, and they will come, you're gonna stand your ground. Are you with me? Ora. We mumble. I can't hear you. Ora. That's more like it. Now get some chow. Get some sleep if you can, and check your weapons. Tonight, we do it again. People who weren't there, they ask what the worst part was. The Chinese? The fighting? No. The cold. The cold was the enemy you couldn't shoot, couldn't stab, couldn't run from. Minus 35 degrees. Minus 40. The thermometers stopped working. Your spit freezes before it hits the ground. If you touch bare metal with bare skin, you leave your skin behind. Frostbite isn't something that might happen, it's something that's definitely happening every minute to everyone. We learned tricks, some from Kowalski, some from trial and error, some from watching guys make mistakes and paying for it. Never take your gloves off even to eat. You eat with gloves on, doesn't matter if you drop half your food. Keep your canteen inside your parka, though the water still freezes. We take turns sleeping with canteens against our bodies, trying to keep at least one source of water liquid. Pee in empty ration cans, because if you drop your pants outside, you'll lose parts you'd rather keep. Private Henderson learned that the hard way. Got frostbite in a place you don't want frostbite. They had to evacuate him when the regiment finally broke through. Sleep in pairs for warmth. I sleep next to Jenkins most nights, both of us in our bags, pressed together like sardines. It's awkward, but it keeps us alive. Trade socks with your buddy, because wearing the same pair for days will cost you your toes. Every morning and every night, sock exchange. You check each other's feet. Black toes? That's frostbite. White toes? That's worse. That's deep frostbite. You might lose them. Jenkins lost 2 toes on day 3. Just woke up and couldn't feel his feet. By the time Rodriguez got his boots off, the toes were black, hard as wood. Rodriguez just shook his head. I'm sorry, son. They're gone. Jenkins didn't even cry. I think he was just relieved it wasn't worse. He'd seen Peterson gut-wound guy die that morning. Died quiet in his sleep, frozen to the litter they'd put him on. Rodriguez closed his eyes and covered his face with a poncho. At least he's not cold anymore, Jenkins said. Dark humor. That's what kept us sane. Well, semi-sane. The vehicles are dying too. Jeeps won't start. We try everything, building fires under the engines, draining the oil and heating it up, even mixing gasoline with the diesel to thin it out. Nothing works for long. Trucks have to run 24/7 because if you shut them off, they'll never start again. We're burning fuel just to keep the engines alive. We park them in a circle, engines running, and huddle around them for warmth when we're not on watch. The tanks, the M26 Pershings and M4A3 Shermans, they're having their own problems. The engines will run, but the hydraulics are freezing up. The turrets move like they're in molasses. The loaders are having to hammer the breech blocks open after each shot because they freeze shut. Private Williams, he's a tanker attached to our position. He tells me, we got maybe 3 rounds per gun before the whole system locks up. After that, we're just expensive pillboxes. Great. So even our armor's unreliable. The Chinese? They keep probing. Not massive attacks like that first night, but constant pressure. A squad here, a platoon there. They're trying to find our weak spots, trying to keep us from sleeping, from eating, from staying human. They're succeeding. By day 5, I can't remember what it feels like to be warm. I can't remember what my feet look like before the frostbite turned them purple and swollen. I can't remember sleeping more than 20 minutes at a time. On day 5, we lose contact with the rest of the regiment. The Chinese have cut the road. We're officially isolated. That's when Lieutenant Morrison gathers what's left of Fox Company. We're down to maybe 160 now. Some dead, more wounded, and a few just disappeared. Wandered off in the cold, mines gone. We find them later, frozen solid, sitting against trees like they just decided to take a nap. Morrison stands on an ammunition crate so we can all see him. His face is gaunt, frost covering his beard, but his eyes are still sharp. Listen up, he says. His voice is hoarse from the cold and from yelling. I'm not gonna lie to you, we're cut off. The Chinese own the road behind us, but the 5th and 7th Marines at Udam, they're breaking out. They're coming south and they're coming through here. Our job, our only job, is to hold this position until they arrive. He pauses, lets that sink in. This is Toktong Pass. It's the only way out of this valley. If we fold, if we run, the whole regiment dies in these mountains. 8,000 Marines, 8,000 of our brothers. You understand what I'm saying? We understand. I know you're cold. I know you're tired. I know you're scared. Hell, I'm scared too. But we're Marines, and Marines don't run. We hold the line. Aura, someone says. Weak, but it's there. I can't hear you, Marines. Aura, good. Now check your weapons and get some chow. They'll hit us again tonight. He's right, of course. They always hit us at night. Martinez pulls me aside after Morrison dismisses us. You still got that letter? The one you've been writing to your ma? Yeah. Why? I've been writing one too. To my girl back home, Rosa. He shows me a photograph. Beautiful girl, dark hair, big smile. We're supposed to get married in June. You will. If I don't make it, you'll make it. But if I don't, will you mail it for me? The letter. I look at him. Really look at him. Martinez is tough, built like a tank, never shows fear. But right now, he looks small, mortal. I'll mail it, I say, but you're gonna mail it yourself. We're getting out of here. Yeah, he says, we're getting out. Neither of us believes it. Nights at Chosin blur together. They all follow the same pattern, 22:00 hours. Bugles, whistles, they're coming. 22:05 hours, first wave hits. We open fire. 22:30 hours, hand-to-hand fighting as they breach the perimeter. 01:00 hours. They pull back. We count our dead. 00 hours. They hit us again. It's a war of attrition, and we're losing. Every night, Fox Company gets smaller. We start at 240, then 90, then 160, then 140, then 120. The Chinese, later we find out, they're taking casualties at a rate that would break any Western army, but they have the numbers, and they have the commitment. These aren't conscripts, these are veterans of the 9th Army Group who fought the Japanese, fought the nationalists in the Chinese Civil War. They know how to fight, and they're not afraid to die. Night 7, they get inside our perimeter. I'm in my fighting hole with Jenkins when I hear it screaming behind us. English screaming. I turn and there's a Chinese soldier maybe 20 yards away bayoneting Martinez. Time slows down. I see Martinez trying to fight back, but his BR is jammed. I see the Chinese soldier pull his bayonet out, raise it again. I see the blood black in the moonlight spreading across Martinez's parka. I don't think, I just react. I'm up and running, my M1 at port arms. The Chinese soldier sees me, tries to pull his rifle free, but it's stuck in Martinez. I'm closing fast. 15 yards, 10 yards, 5 yards. I drive my bayonet into his chest. He looks surprised. His mouth opens, makes this small sound, and slides off my blade. I pull the bolt back, chamber another round, scan for more target. Martinez is on the ground, clutching his side. Kerman, I'm screaming, Kerman. Danny. Jenkins is screaming behind me. Behind you. I spin. Another Chinese soldier coming fast. I work the bolt 5 from the hip. He goes down. Another one coming from the left. I pivot. Fire. He's 5 yards away. I work the bolt. It's jammed. Frozen. Time to die. But then Kowalski is there. His Thompson submachine gun chattering. The Chinese soldier drops. Kowalski sweeps the area. 2 more bursts. 2 more targets down. Sullivan, Jenkins on me. He's got half a squad with him, clearing the sector room by room, hole by hole. We gotta push him back before they consolidate. We move as a unit, covering each other, clearing each position. 5 minutes of close-range chaos. Grenades, bayonets, rifle butts, whatever it takes, and then it's over. The Chinese pull back. We've held. I'm sitting in the snow, shaking. Rodriguez is working on Martinez. Martinez, tough, unbreakable Martinez. He's crying. My leg, he's gasping. Can't feel my leg. You're gonna be okay, Rodriguez says, but I hear the uncertainty in his voice. Just a flesh wound. We'll patch you up. I crawl over. Martinez. Hey, Martinez. Look at me. He looks at me, eyes unfocused. You're gonna make it, you hear me? You're gonna marry Rosa in June. You're gonna have kids. You're gonna tell them about this. You're gonna make it. Take care of Rosa. He whispers. If I don't, you will. Promise me, Danny. Promise me you'll tell her. I promise. But you're telling her yourself. Kowalski squats next to me. We gotta move him to the CP. Rodriguez, can he be moved? Not sure, Sarge. He's lost a lot of blood. Do it anyway. We can't leave him here. 4 of us carry Martinez back to the command post. It takes 15 minutes. We keep having to stop when Chinese snipers fire at us. By the time we get there, Martinez is unconscious. Lieutenant Morrison takes one look at him and his face goes hard. How many more, he asks Kowalski. 6 dead. 14 wounded. 3 missing. Missing. Probably dead. Just haven't found the bodies yet. Morrison runs his hand through his hair. It's frozen solid. Breaks off in chunks. We can't take many more nights like this, he says quietly. I know, sir. The regiment's still 2 days out. Minimum. I know. Can we hold? Kowalski looks at what's left of Fox Company. Exhausted, frozen, bleeding, down to maybe 110 effectives. We'll hold, he says, or we'll die trying. That's the thing about Marines. We're too stubborn to quit. December 2nd, 1950, day 6 of the siege. Fox Company is down to 95 effectives. Martinez died during the night. Bled out internal. Rodriguez did everything he could. Everything, but without plasma, without a surgeon. There was nothing to do but watch him fade. I held his hand at the end, told him Rosa was waiting for him, told him he'd done good, told him he was a hero. I don't know if he heard me. We bury him in a shallow grave, the ground's too frozen to dig deep. Kowalski says a few words. Morrison salutes and we cover him with rocks to keep the animals away. I've got his letter to Rosa in my pack, and the photograph. I promised. The 600 hours. I'm on watch scanning the ridgeline through the gray dawn light when I see them. Tanks. My heart stops. The Chinese don't have tanks here, which means they're ours. Jenkins is shouting, "It's the regiment. They made it." And sure enough, coming down the road from Udemy, there they are. The 5th and 7th Marines fighting their way through. M4A3 Sherman tanks in the lead, infantry following, trucks carrying wounded. They look worse than we do, and we look like hell. I can see frozen bodies strapped to tank hulls. I can see men with 1,000-yard stares trudging through the snow. I can see the walking wounded arms in slings, heads bandaged, limping on frost-bitten feet, still carrying their rifles, still ready to fight. This is what 8,000 Marines looks like after fighting through 6 Chinese divisions. Lieutenant Morrison is on the radio. Someone scrounged a working battery from one of the tanks. Dragon 6, this is Fox Company. We see you. Welcome to Toktong Pass. We're still here, over. Fox, Dragon 6, it's Colonel Litzenberg himself. Outstanding work, couldn't have done it without you. We're coming up now, over. The column takes 3 hours to reach our position. 3 hours of constant movement, constant fighting. The Chinese are harassing them every step of the way. Mortars, snipers, small unit ambushes, but they're coming through. When the first tanks roll past our position, the crews are frozen to their stations. They've been in those tanks for 3 days straight, fighting continuously. Some of them can barely move. We have to help them out, thaw them by fires. The infantry, they're hollow-eyed. They've been fighting since November 27th, same as us. 5 days of continuous combat, pulling back inch by inch, carrying their wounded, refusing to leave anyone behind. Colonel Litzenberg himself comes up to our position. He's maybe 50 years old, looks 70. He's got frostbite on his face, walks with a limp, but his eyes are still sharp. Captain Morrison, he asks. Lieutenant, sir. Captain Barber's wounded. Where is he? Command post, sir. Took a round in the hip on day 2. Refused evacuation. Litzenberg nods. How many effectives? Started with 240, sir. Down to 95 as of this morning. Litzenberg closes his eyes for a moment. When he opens them, they're wet. You boys held, he says quietly, against 3 regiments for 6 days. You saved this division. Just doing our job, sir. Morrison replies, well, your job saved about 8,000 Marines. Now let's get the hell out of this frozen wasteland. Form up. We're moving out in 1 hour. 1 hour. After 7 days, we're finally leaving. But leaving isn't the same as escaping. The Chinese aren't done with us yet. They called it a breakout. The brass called it an attack in a different direction. General O.P. Smith, division commander, he's the one who said it. Retreat? Hell, we're not retreating, we're just attacking in a different direction. We called it what it was, running the gauntlet 78 miles from Udemy to the sea at Hungnam, through 6 Chinese divisions, in sub-zero temperatures with every vehicle we own packed with wounded. The road, if you can call it that, is barely 1 lane wide, carved into the side of mountains. On one side, cliffs. On the other side, 1,000-foot drops into nothing. The Chinese hold the high ground on both sides. They can hit us whenever they want, and they do. We're 5 miles south of Toktong Pass when the first ambush hits. Machine guns from the ridgeline catching the column in the open. The tanks return fire, the infantry deploys, and we're fighting again. This is how it goes for 3 days straight. Move a mile, get ambushed. Fight. Clear the ridgelines. Move another mile, get ambushed again. It's like fighting through a meat grinder, slowly, painfully, leaving pieces of yourself behind with every mile. The wounded are the worst. We've got maybe 1,500 of them by now strapped to anything that moves. Tank hulls, jeep hoods, trailer sleds. Some are in trucks, but most are out in the open, exposed to the wind and the gunfire. No morphine left, no plasma, no antibiotics, just bandages and prayers. I see a kid can't be more than 18 frozen to the hood of a jeep. They'd strapped him down on day one, and now his uniform is frozen to the metal. When they try to move him at a rest stop, his skin tears off. He screams. Rodriguez tries to help, but there's nothing to be done except re-bandage him and leave him there. The kid dies 2 hours later. They don't even stop the jeep. They just push his body off and keep moving. That's Chosin. No time for dignity. No time for proper burials. You keep moving or you die. Rodriguez, our corpsman, he's working miracles. No sleep, no proper supplies, just willpower and medical training. I see him one night at a rest stop, sitting by himself crying. "Doc." I sit down next to him. "What do you need?" "A time machine," he says, "and a real hospital, and antibiotics, and plasma, and morphine." And his voice breaks. "I'm losing them, Sullivan. I can't stop the bleeding. I can't fight the infections. I can't even ease their pain. You're doing everything you can. It's not enough. It's never enough." I don't know what to say to that because he's right. It's not enough, but it's all we have. Jenkins is helping with the wounded now. Can't walk well with his missing toes. They turned black and Rodriguez had to amputate them with a K-bar knife. No anesthetic, but he can ride in the trucks and help stabilize guys. Gives him purpose, keeps him from thinking about the cold, about Martinez, about all the others we've lost. We passed through Hagaru-ri on December 6th. There's an airstrip there, carved out of frozen ground by combat engineers in 3 days flat. C-47s are landing and taking out the worst cases, but there's not enough planes for everyone. Not even close. They're doing triage. The ones who might make it with immediate surgery, they go. The ones who are gonna die anyway, they stay. And the walking wounded, they walk. I watch them load casualties onto us. Some are conscious, staring at nothing. Some are screaming. Some are already dead, but nobody noticed yet. The pilot, Air Force captain, maybe 30 years old. He comes down the ramp after loading. He looks sick. "How many more?" he asks. The loading officer, "Couple hundred here, 1,000 more coming down from Udamni." "Jesus Christ," the pilot whispers. "What the hell happened up there?" "China happened," the officer says. "Now get these boys out of here." The C-47 takes off, struggling in the thin cold air. We watch it climb, circle once and head south. "Think they'll make it?" Jenkins asks. "They better," I say, "because we might be on the next one." But we're not. We're walking wounded. We stay with the column. At Koto-ri, we pick up more Marines. The 1st Battalion, 1st Marines. They'd been holding the supply base. And more Chinese, always more Chinese. They're hitting us from all sides now, desperately trying to stop the column. December 8th, we reach Funchalen Pass. The bridge is blown. The Chinese destroyed it. Treadway Bridge number 4. A simple wooden bridge over a gorge gone. Dynamited. We're stuck. The whole column. 8,000 Marines. Hundreds of vehicles. Thousands of wounded. Stopped cold at a blown bridge. Behind us, the Chinese are massing for a final attack. We can hear them. Bugles, whistles. The sound of thousands of men moving into position. This is it. This is where it ends. But then, and I swear this is true, I saw it with my own eyes. The Air Force saves us. C-11-9 flying boxcars appear overhead. Big lumbering cargo planes. And they start dropping things. Parachutes. Dozens of them. What the hell are they dropping? Jenkins asks. Bridge sections. Lieutenant Morrison says. He's got binoculars watching the drop. They're dropping bridge sections. Brand new Treadway bridge sections. Each weighing thousands of pounds, floating down on parachutes. Some land in the gorge and are lost. but enough land near the bridge site. The engineers, God bless the engineers. They assemble it under fire. It takes 8 hours. The Chinese are shooting at them the whole time. Mortars, machine guns, snipers. The engineers just keep working. Private First Class Marvin Waugh gets shot, keeps working. Corporal Lloyd gets hit by shrapnel, keeps working. They're building this bridge knowing that if they fail, 8,000 Marines die here. They don't fail. By nightfall the bridge is done. It's not pretty, it's not regulation, but it's there. One vehicle at a time we cross, testing each creak of wood sounds like the bridge is about to collapse, but it holds. The tanks go first, then the trucks with the wounded, then the walking wounded, then the rifle companies covering the withdrawal. Fox Company, what's left of us. We're near the end. Rear guard, making sure nobody gets left behind. I'm halfway across when I look down. It's maybe 100-foot drop into nothing. The bridge is swaying. Wind is pushing at me. I can hear the Chinese shooting at us from the ridge lines. Don't look down. Kowalski shouts. Keep moving. I focus on the man in front of me. One step, another step. Don't think about the drop. Don't think about the bridge collapsing. Just walk. And then I'm across. We made it. Funchalen Pass. The last major obstacle is behind us. 11 miles to Hungnam. 11 miles to the sea. 11 miles to freedom. December 11th, 1950. 15 days after it started, we see it from the final ridgeline. Hungnam. The port. The sea. Ships are waiting. LSTs. Landing ship. Tanks lined up at the docks like a mother's arms. The Navy's here to take us out. I don't cry easy. Didn't cry when Ma died. Didn't cry at Paris Island. But seeing those ships, I cry. Fox Company. What's left of it? We're near the end of the column. We've been fighting rearguard actions for 3 days straight, keeping the Chinese off the main body, fighting, pulling back, fighting, pulling back, constant, exhausting dance with death. We started at Toktong Pass with 240 men. We're down to 82 effectives, 58 casualties. Some dead, some wounded, some just gone, disappeared into the cold and the chaos. But we're here, we made it. The column moves through Hungnam's perimeter. Army units 3rd Infantry Division are holding the defensive line while the Marines evacuate. There's a whole operation happening, blowing up supplies we can't take, evacuating Korean refugees who are fleeing the Chinese, destroying the port facilities so the Chinese can't use them. The refugees, that's something else. There's thousands of them. Entire families fleeing south with whatever they can carry. Women with babies. Old men, children. The Navy's taking them too, loading them onto the LSTs alongside the Marines, saving them from what's coming. Lieutenant Morrison, he's still alive somehow, frostbite on his face, but still moving, gathers what's left of Fox Company. We're a sorry sight. Bearded, frozen, filthy. Some of us can barely walk, but we're alive. All right, Marines, Morrison says. His voice is hoarse, barely above a whisper. We're loading on LST-83. Grab your gear and move out. He pauses, looks at each of us. I'm proud to have served with you. You did the impossible. You held against 3 regiments for 7 days. You saved 8,000 Marines. The Corps will never forget what you did at Toktong Pass. We don't say anything. What is there to say? Now let's go home. We move like ghosts through the port, past Army units who stare at us like we're walking dead, past Navy sailors who look shocked at our condition, past refugees who bow and thank us in Korean. I'm walking up the LST ramp when I feel it, warm air. The ship has heat, actual, real, honest-to-God heat. I find a corner below decks, drop my gear and sit down. My legs give out. I can't stand anymore. Everything hurts. My feet are blocks of wood. My hands are swollen and cracked. My face is burned from the cold. Jenkins drops next to me. He's crying. We're all crying now. Relief, exhaustion, grief. Everything hits at once. We made it, he says. Yeah. Martinez didn't. No. Think he knew. At the end, think he knew we'd make it. I think about Martinez, about holding his hand in the dark, about the letter to Rosa in my pack, about the promise I made. He knew. I lie. He knew. The ship's engines rumble to life. We're moving, actually moving, leaving Korea behind. Around us, Marines are collapsed. Some are sleeping, really sleeping. For the first time in 2 weeks, some are eating. Navy chow, hot food, actual meals. Some are just sitting, staring at nothing. Corman Rodriguez is still working, even here on the ship. He's checking wounds, changing bandages, making sure everyone's okay. I watch him move from man to man, and I realize he hasn't stopped, not once in 15 days. Doc, I call out, you can rest now. He looks at me, his eyes are dead. Can I, he asks, and keeps working. I pull out the letters I've been writing, one to Ma, one to Martinez Rose. I read through them, and they seem inadequate. How do you explain Chosin? How do you put frozen hell into words that make sense to people who weren't there? Dear Ma, I'm okay. Don't worry, it was cold in Korea but we managed. I'll be home soon. I love you. Danny, that's all I can manage. The rest, the truth, I'll carry that alone. Dear Rosa, you don't know me, but I served with Corporal Antonio Martinez in Fox Company. He asked me to write to you if anything happened to him. I'm sorry, he died on December 2nd saving his squad. He died a hero. He talked about you constantly, about the wedding in June, about the life you were going to have together. He wanted you to know he loved you, that you made him happy, that if he could have chosen any other life, he would have chosen more time with you. I'm enclosing the photograph he carried, and his last letter. I'm sorry I couldn't save him. PFC Danny Sullivan. I fold the letters carefully. I'll mail them when we reach Japan, when I can function again, when I can face what we've been through. Jenkins is already asleep. Half the company is asleep. For the first time in 2 weeks, we can actually close our eyes without expecting to be killed. But I can't sleep, not yet. I keep seeing faces, Martinez, Peterson, all the others. I keep hearing bugles, Chinese voices, the sound of frozen breath, the crack of rifles in the cold. Chosin is over, but Chosin isn't leaving me. I know, somehow I know, this is the kind of thing that stays with you forever. Above deck, I hear explosions. They're demolishing the port, blowing up the supplies, destroying everything so the Chinese can't use. The last Marines are loading now, the last refugees, and then the ships will leave and Hungnam will burn. And the Chinese will have nothing but ruins. We won, sort of. We survived. That's what counts, but it doesn't feel like winning. It feels like we traded everything, friends. Parts of ourselves, pieces of our souls just to make it out alive. Was it worth it? I don't know. Ask me in 50 years.
To the 83 Marines who didn't make it out of Chosin. To the 2,000 PFC soldiers of the 31st Regimental Combat Team, the Forgotten Task Force East, who fought to the last man on the east side of the reservoir. To the Sitharesan PFC Marines who made it out but lost parts of themselves to the cold. To the Chinese soldiers who died in the snow far from their homes following orders they probably didn't understand. You're not forgotten. 75 years later, we still remember, we still tell your story, and as long as there are Marines, as long as there's a Corps, your sacrifice will never be forgotten. Frozen Chosin. 17 Days in Hell. November 27, December 11.